it probably will be in. He just turned it on.
Yeah,
So
what you about to say? Yeah. You put on what? That's too cold. Take me out. Like you said, what you put it on? Put it on.
But yeah, it was monster.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Oh, okay, I got it.
We'll roll it.
No, I didn't want to turn it on. Let it stay on. Testing. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this party started. This section or session of the party started right because as you may or may not know, I am Yolanda Yoga Spiritualist Hops. I am not only a spiritualist, but I'm also a podcaster. So I have a podcast called #What Woke Looks Like. And it airs every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. So I thought, since we were doing this, that it might be a great opportunity for me to do a live segment. So you actually get an opportunity to be a part of that. Surprise. You just never know. So the Saturn Return is the epitome of wokeness. I think if you've been through it, you could attest to that. How many of you have already been through it? Okay, hallelujah. We can take up a collection later on. Let the church say amen. Just so y'all know, full disclaimer, I'm an old Baptist church girl, even though, I've kind of been reformed on a different path right now. But some people call me the Reverend Hops. But I had to find out my own way of doing things. And I think my Saturn Return was a big part of that, which of course I'm headed toward my second one now. So I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, it's going to be what it's going to be, right? So this is going to be episode 3, season 2 of #What Woke Looks Like. And this is a space where we name the moment that changed everything, okay? And today's show is special because we're broadcasting live from the altar in Atlanta, Georgia. So shout out to the altar. Y'all give the altar. Big hand clap of praise. Amen. All right. Now let me see. Let me make sure I got all my wires right. Who owns the altar? Ashanti.
Her co-owner. Yes, Ashanti of Nairi Wasty.
Okay, Ashanti. Is Ashanti here?
She'll be here soon.
Okay, all right, because I wanted to make sure that we recognize her and thank her for giving us this opportunity.
Yes, and there will be an opportunity if y'all want waist beads. She does hand beaded waist beads, and she'll be doing that at the end of the event.
Awesome. So we're talking about one of the most important spiritual initiations I think that a human being can go through. The Saturn Return, as I said before. And these two lovely young women who I have sitting with me today on the stage, they have crossed the threshold. They have been dismantled, okay? Refined, can I say? Clock it. And now they are rebuilding from truth. Because you find out your truth and who you really are when you go through your Saturn Return. Am I right? So allow me to introduce them. I think you already know them, but I'm going to still do a formal introduction since this is going to go globally. Xania Pierce, who many of us who have tuned into the podcast before may recognize from season 1. She was a guest with us, but she is a Savannah, Georgia native, a free-flowing spiritualist and herbalist, a vegan chef. She is the owner of Geechee Girl Vegan and Alvira's Apothecary, where she combines her passions for plant-based cooking and natural healing, cultural remembrance, and an overall feel and love for creative expression. And then my new guest is none other than Queen Gregory. It's a pleasure to meet her today. She is an Augusta, Georgia native. We got Georgia all up and through here today, y'all. An entrepreneur and the owner of Nacha Matcha. I love that. a hand-whisked matcha pop-up experience. Okay, come on, stir it up. Cooking in the kitchen, that's what I'm talking about. Her business reflects a shift from hustling to intentional living, and she openly shares her evolving journey to inspire others. So let's get into it. What is the Saturn return? So Saturn, we know, is responsible for things like karma, time, discipline, responsibility, truth, maturity, structure, consistency, and the consequences of our choices and actions. Saturn takes approximately 29 and a half years to orbit the sun. A long time, y'all. And that means somewhere between the ages of 27 and 31, you will experience your first Saturn return. And where it returns to the exact position it was in when you were born, okay? When God decided, let there be life in each of you, okay? Saturn doesn't punish. That's a huge misnomer, but it does clarify, okay? That's what it does. It removes what's false so you can build trust and find out what's true. It's often uncomfortable. You can experience things like loss, pressure, endings, isolation. But on the other side of your Saturn return is power. And I need you to know that for those who have not been through it as of yet. There's clarity, boundaries, limitations, self-authority, sovereignty, and the beginning of your true life path. So today, we witness what woke looks like through the eyes of Saturn. I've got a couple of questions. This is what I do. I got some things. So let's talk about what happened before the Saturn return. I like to call this the old identity. Ladies, before your Saturn return began, how would you describe who you were as a person? And I'll let whoever would like to go first do so.
Y'all gonna see why I told her to go first. Oh, you over there?
Hey y'all.
Hey.
Who was I before my Saturn return? So before March of 2023, extremely ambitious, wouldn't take no for an answer, knocking down doors. I lived in New York City for a few years, so I was just climbing the ladder. All I cared about was advancing in my career, winning an Oscar. I still work in TV and film in the costume department, but that was just my main concern. I didn't even see anything else. I was just tunnel vision. I want to be like Ruth Carter. I want to just style and be on the scene, Fashion Week, doing all the things, moving really, really fast, probably not really in touch with my body because I was just so in my head. So everything was very, logistical and just, focused on the goals. And I'd say also I prided myself on being there for everybody, being the go-to person, always keeping my word with other people, but probably not always keeping my word with myself, if I'm honest. That was tough for me. Like, I would never let other people down, but I'm looking like, dang, I'm still trying to lose the same 15 pounds from 2015. So yeah, that I'll say that, yes. Dependable person, very ambitious, and not very emotionally attuned to myself.
Okay. Love that. Thank you.
Okay. So, who was I before my Saturn return? I was the person who wouldn't be up here speaking to you right now because my Saturn is in the 3rd house. So my lessons were in communication. It was in early education, siblings, hometown, that type of vibe. And to be honest, working on relationships was like my biggest thing too, because even we did an event called Costumes and Cocktails. That was 2021. I remember we had the event, we put it together. amazing, just like this one. And they were like, come up and speak, come up and speak. She spoke, and then Jasmine, one of our coworkers at the time, she spoke as well. But I was just like, in my little corner, I was like, y'all gonna do y'all thing. But I did not want to get out of my comfort zone. I was just, in my own little shell. But now we can see. I'm talking to y'all today. So yeah. But also not only that, but just lessons around working as well, and getting out of survival mode. Also taking that time to love on myself. I wasn't doing that before my Saturn return. It was just very much go to work 12 hours, come home, cook me some food if I needed it, and other than that, take a shower, lay down, go to sleep, do the same thing back over again. So it's like when you're in that cycle, it's kind of like you're in a box and you get depressed. Like I remember one day calling my mom, I think I was working on a show called Queens at the time. And I remember just coming home and like I felt it in my body, but I didn't know what it was because this is pre-Saturn return. So I'm like, what is it that I'm feeling? But I just remember being on the phone with her just crying because I'm like, why do I feel this way? But I didn't know what it was. Yeah, so I didn't really have a life for real before Saturn return.
So let me ask this question then, and can everybody hear me okay? Because I got a big mouth. I don't need to have a mic. My mama used to try to get me to hush, and I never did, and I probably never will. So here's what I want to ask though. In the midst of all of this, do you feel as if you were living for yourself, or were you living according to others' expectations of you? Family, society, survival?
Yes, very much survival, living for other people, performing, which we talk about all the time.
Yes.
I'm trying to get my words together, y'all. I'm still working through my communication.
You're doing
so
fine.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for your patience. As far as, can you repeat what you said again?
Okay, yeah. I wanted to know, were you living for yourself, or were you trying to live up to others' expectations?
Okay, yes.
Family, society, survival.
Yeah. So the fact that it was around communication for me, growing up, I didn't really have a voice because my voice was controlled by one of my parents, my father to be exact. So, when you're a child, you don't really know if your mom is saying one thing, your dad is saying another thing. It's kind of like, well, who do I listen to?
Right.
So for me, it took a while to get out of that. And I just remember being at work because I'm now in my career, but now that's showing up in my work life because it's like, well, how do I speak up for myself? Am I going to say the wrong thing? Like, am I going to get blackballed if I don't speak up for myself? It's those type of things. So I think, it was definitely like, I got to say what they want me to say. I got to do what they want me to do because I was still in that child's mentality. So, yeah, that's what I got to say.
I would say for me, I was most definitely living for myself.
Okay.
But also in survival mode. But because my Saturn was in the first house, which is all about identity and how I view myself and how I show up in the world, I realized that although I was living for myself, I became a version of myself I thought I needed to be. So it's not like I'm doing what everybody else is expecting me to do. It's just as you go through life and you're putting on these garments, almost like getting dressed. And I'm like, oh, this is me, and I'm looking in the mirror, this is me. But then throughout my Saturn return, which we'll get to in the next phase, I had to strip away all the clothes, the mask, and all the things, and then rebuild myself in my true identity and, who I really, really, really want to be, and not who I was influenced to be or, subconsciously trained to be, like nobody said you better be like this, but you have certain mechanisms and different things that you pick up that make you feel as though like, okay, I should probably show up in this way in order to be accepted, or I should probably show up this way in order to, you know, make other people comfortable, especially as a Cancer. I have a Cancer stellium, so all I want is for people to be comfortable and, you know, cozy and feeling good and not sad, you know, so yeah, that's my answer.
Love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So then let's switch gears a little bit and let's move into the Saturn return, the breakdown. Okay. When did you first realize something major was shifting? I'm getting a tough answer. Okay. When did you realize that something major was shifting? Were there things that, well, I know there were. Let me rephrase that. What was it that ended? Think about what ended. Think about what changed. Think about what fell apart.
I'm about to cry right now, man. I'm still the same. What they say on Flavor of Love? The same wounds. The same wounds. I'm still not over it 3 years later. For me, so the Saturn Return started March 2023, and my last full-time job in TV and film ended February 2023. And I was working on Ava DuVernay's Origin in Savannah. And yeah, that was 3 years ago. And so it was so jarring to me that the industry had slowed down, something that I had dedicated my entire 20s to. At this point, I'm 27, you know, so for the past 7 years, I had dedicated my whole life to this industry and to this line of work, willing to give up all the things for a statue, you know, and it left me for dead. Left me, look, I still don't know where it's at. It come knocking every now and again, but the industry is still, you know, on life support. It's still like very slim. And so that was the biggest thing for me. And that summer, that's when the strikes happened. And so all of us were out of work. I mean, not to get graphic, but people were like unaliving themselves. This was terrible, like a terrible, very depressing time. And like, you know, we're taught to, some people, you know, are taught like how to manage their money or how to go about life a certain way or go to college and do certain things. And, you know, I'm thinking I've done everything the right way. What you mean? They done came and, you know, removed the rug from up under me and I have nothing, seemingly. We'll get to that in the next question. But yeah.
You want to add something, Queen?
No, my moment. So for me, 2023, but a little bit into 2022, I'll go into a little bit of that.
Okay.
So 2022, I'm still working in the industry, still get booked for jobs. I remember being in Xania, we go to New York, we go to this fashion thing. I'm like, yeah, we still in it. I had met a guy at the airport, so I'm like, yeah, God, you just sent me a man. I see you, I've been doing this in work. All right, I see you. So it just felt like everything was aligning. Then we get into 2023, and I remember it was maybe like February. I'm sitting in the car in front of Tyler Perry Studios, crying in my car because I'm like, I'm in a relationship, but also my work life it don't look good. Like, what is this? Like, I don't want to do this no more. I want to be out. But I remember 2022 being on that Marvel project, and I was making jokes with my coworker, and I was like, yeah, I'm retired. Like, I'm about to retire. She was like, girl, like, you're too young. Like, what you talking about? But that was my spirit then telling me, like, there's more. Like, you have more to do.
Right.
And so I started feeling that going into 2023, and those changes started happening. So then 2023, like she said, the industry slowed down with the strikes. And so I ended up going to work for retail. I mean, look at me, I've been working in the industry, you know, with my credits all this time, and then I'm going back to working in retail. For me, that was like very humbling. It was like, I'm making so much money, but then now I'm only making like $14 an hour. It's like,
What is going on?
Like, my money ain't right.
Money ain't funny.
So then also, relationship wasn't right as well. So although it looked good on paper, my spirit was calling for more. So it was like, you know, trust yourself in that. Trust that what you're feeling inside is correct. Like, this is not for you. And I got one night from God, if you don't leave this relationship, you're not going to get what's for you.
Wow.
Yeah. And so this is during the Saturn.
That's in the midst. That's
That's
the break.
in the
And that's the
midst.
breakdown.
And I'm
That's the
like,
breakdown. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back home to Augusta. I'm gonna have to, what I'm gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
for me, it was very like, I'm stripping you of everything. And not just the industry, but your relationships, some people around you.
Mhm.
And also along the journey with so many people that were friends, like again, relationships that had to leave as well. Like certain things didn't happen until I also trusted myself in allowing those relationships to not be in my life anymore.
Wow.
So a lot of endings.
So I'm hearing a few things here. I'm hearing some loss, loneliness, maybe. Isolation, yeah. Identity confusion, maybe. Crisis. Major life redirections, yes? So what do you feel like you outgrew in the midst of all of that? What did you outgrow?
I definitely outgrew the people pleasing. So I realized, like, when I was in New York chasing my dreams and doing all the things, I was so disconnected from my body that I wasn't even tapped in that I was doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
But child, when the money got funny and the stress is on, it's like,
Yeah.
I can't play this character no more. Something gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, I have to really tune in with myself, and I cannot do the people pleasing no more. Can't even do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just really showing up as who I want to be and expressing myself authentically,
Yes.
no matter what it looks like to other people.
Love that. Love that.
I think I outgrew not trusting myself because
Oh, that's a big one.
before, of course, when you're in something, it's like, am I making the right decision?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I think about the Wizard of Oz and she's on the yellow brick road and Scarecrow is like, you can go this way or you can go that way. It's like, there's no wrong way, just continue the path.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do something different.
Right.
And so for me, it was just choosing a different way, but also knowing like you can trust yourself in whatever decision you make because nothing is going to be wrong. Just get yourself out of whatever you're in right now.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think I outgrew that.
I love it. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing that with us. So let's segue again, shall we? We've gone through the old identity. We made it through the breakdown. Let's talk about the awakening. Let's talk about what woke begins to look like. The turning point, if you will. What would you say you learned about your worth during that time? Because I know that was a big piece for me. What did you learn about your worth? Because clearly there was a shift that occurred from those other two categories into this one, because the Saturn Return is not a one-trick pony. Because think about now, it's 2.5 years. This particular planet is going from 0 degrees all the way to 29 degrees. And it's a slow progression. So I want to hear about that.
So as far as my worth, what I did not realize until 2023 when all of that happened was how much my identity was truly tied up into my work. So not really that I led with my work. I thought by not leading with my work and not yelling it from the mountaintops or posting all the time what I was doing, that meant like I have my own identity. I'm not worried about that. When no, what I realized every day I would wake up during that time when I was not working is that work was my identity. Like that's all I really cared about and all I really wanted to do every day when I would wake up. Also with my work, I realized that sometimes my presence, oftentimes my presence is just valuable, you know, even when I'm not able to show up in certain ways or give certain things. I prided myself on being able to, you know, oh yeah, I got you, your baby need diapers. Oh, like when I would get cash, I would just give it to homeless people. Like I would, you know, but I had to also realize, honestly speaking, it sound good. Don't but that's an ego
Right.
thing. It's like
Definitely,
I feel
yes,
really
yes,
good
yes.
being able to,
Give.
give.
Yes.
Not like from a negative place,
No,
but
no,
still,
no.
it's like that makes me
Right.
feel good.
Right.
Being needed, when you really get to the nitty gritty of it, it's like,
for sure.
I love that people can come to me and depend on me, and like, I feel needed. I feel valuable because this person needs me and needs me to be there.
Mhm.
But really, it's like, no, your worth should not be tied up to what you can give.
Exactly.
And like,
Yes.
even I remember when I finished that job, Origin, in February 2023, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was in Savannah and I was like, well, let me offer to give people a ride to work. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, I don't got nothing to do. Let me text the group chat with my sister circle and say, hey, who need a ride to work? If anybody need help with their laundry or something, I'm thinking like, what can I do to be useful? Or, especially when you have like parents or people in your family who are always moving and always like pride themselves on being needed. I'm like, I shouldn't be resting. I shouldn't be just sitting here. And then after a week of giving some, and then it's so funny because the person I had to give a ride to worked all the way out in the landings. If you done been to Savannah, driving from Port Wentworth to the landings.
And you were gonna do that?
I did do it.
Y'all, I live in Savannah.
I did do it multiple times, and then again, having a feeling and not knowing what it was within me, I'm like, this feels like, I feel like I'm burnt out, and I didn't know, I was in therapy at the time. I could barely get on the telecall without crying. She was like, you need to pause. And I ended up booking a staycation in Hilton Head because I'm like, what am I doing? But I was just seeking, like, if I'm not working or, I need to be doing something. So let me go be a good citizen and, use my premium gas. To help the world, So yeah, that was a big thing for me. Removing my identity from work and, always being needed or being the person that, can do those things.
Yeah, for sure. Love it. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question again?
In the midst of your Saturn return, what did you learn about your worth?
Okay. So in the midst of it, right? 2024 going into 2025 is, let's back up to 2024. 2024, got out of a relationship, November-ish. I'm working my last project for a month, so I go into December, in that, go to home for Christmas, go to Augusta, and I'm sitting at home, and then I get a call to come back to work, and I'm like, oh no, I'm on the phone with her, I'm like, I don't know if I should go. She's like, you should rest. I'm like, I don't know about that, because I'm trying to make the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, tying your self-worth to the money, and wanting to have things, or wanting to do things, or wanting to give to people, or whatever the case may be. But I took that time. I just told her, no, I'm good. I don't want to work. Then I ended up taking like a month or some change. No, some month and some change. I was getting my little unemployment checks and, living real good. And so March came, but before that, so let's go back. I used to be on YouTube doing hair reviews. I was like, okay, well, I'll just play. I'll get into my creative bag and I'll just play. I don't know what's going to come of this, but I just need to sit down because, again, like we said, we were coming from a space where it was like go, 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 and not knowing how to sit still and be with yourself. So for me, it was,
That's a big piece.
So it was like, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever I gotta do to play. Like, let me just get into that playing spirit, because the older we get, the more we, stop being childlike. And so that childlikeness, is where the creativity is gonna flow. And so come March, after I was doing YouTube videos, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get back on my responding content, and I'm gonna do this, da. Get into March, and I go to the Augusta market, because mind you, I haven't been in my hometown as much as I was for like 10 years.
Right.
So I'm like, let me just go explore Augusta. Yeah, I don't really like it, but let me just see what they talk about. Like, I love Augusta, but I don't at the same time, because when I left home, it was a bunch of English. Like, I'm like, what y'all doing with y'all lives? Like, looking at my family, like, I gotta make a change.
Yeah.
So that was I had not a disdain, but it was just like, I didn't want to go back home. Because it was nothing there for me. And so, once I got into March, come back around, I'm like, I go to the Augusta market, exploring the city, I'm looking around, I see lemonade businesses, and it's funny because when I was helping her with her business, we were at the vegan social, and I was like, I want to come up with something, I want to do something, I don't know what yet, but I was like, Queen Aid, this was 2024, still got a logo in my phone. Yes. And
Queen
so,
Aid?
Queen Aid.
Oh, tell
Some
us about
lemonade.
that.
So I'm sitting around the market, I'm looking at everybody's booth. I said, you know what? I like a little good matcha lemonade.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
but I don't see nobody selling matcha. That's
Uh-huh.
what we gonna do.
Okay.
And so then that's when the idea came.
Wow.
It just came from
That's
me
how
just
it was born.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
Yep, and I was already making it at home, so I was like, this is
Yeah.
something that I love to do.
Natural segue. Love
And
it.
there it is. And so
Yeah.
for me, that's what happened. And it was just like, wait, what was the question?
No, you got it. You
My
got
work.
it.
So okay, so
The
I'm
work.
carrying it. All right,
The
my work. Y'all, excuse me. All right. Okay, so the work, right? So once I get into my pricing and I get into all these things that I need to do within my business, we have to think about how I was in the industry. When I was in the industry, it's like, okay, I kind of got that practice with, negotiating my contracts. I need a rental car because I'm not about to drive my car all around the city to shop for y'all.
Okay.
So, it was those little things that was already preparing me for when I stepped into my business. So of course I was still a little hesitant to, charge a certain price or whatever the case may be. But again, it was practice over time. So now, even when it comes to negotiating business with my brand, it's like, okay, I have those skills now and I know what I'm worth, so I'm not about to settle for less.
That's
because
right.
I already did that before my Saturn Return.
Mhm.
So why would I do that again? I'd have learned my lesson. So the price is the price.
Yeah. I love that.
Do we have other business owners in the space today? Who's a
Yeah.
business owner? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. How do you feel about that when it comes down to charging your worth? I'm just curious. Was that ever a struggle for anybody? Okay, I'm seeing some nods. Okay, yeah. Because I will say this. I went into business for myself late in life, past the age of 40, and I struggled with that a lot. Knowing that I had a gift, knowing that, and y'all, I'm a Capricorn sun, so I see you looking. I know you're Capricorn. Your husband was like, let me hear this. But you know as well as I do, for us, everything has to be right. And we don't go out there half-stepping. So it was not enough just to know I had a spiritual gift, but I had to make sure that I cultivated it. So I got mentors, okay? I paid to take classes. I sat up under leadership, a lot of different spiritual leadership. Coming out of the church and moving into the spiritual community was a huge shift for me. And so my godfather was like, well, you are very, very gifted, and I would not put my stamp of approval on you if I didn't think you were. He was like, I'm trying to retire, and I'm trying to pass everything off to you. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And he was like, some of these people, I just don't want to deal with them. I'll give them to you because you need to practice. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm up for the challenge. Capricorn, we play the long game. We don't mind a challenge. And I was like, but what do I charge these people? I don't know what to charge them. He was like, you're going to charge them what you're worth. And I said that we can't put a price tag on your worth because there is not one. So I want everybody here who's an entrepreneur to know that. You technically can't put a price tag on your worth. So charge that and then add tax. Okay? All right. That's all I wanted to say about that. Now we're going to move on. Now, so we've moved from the discipline that you underwent, the self-respect that you had to garner, you understanding your worth, trusting yourself. I heard you say that you had to begin doing that. Let's talk about what happened in the aftermath. You're now embarking upon a new identity. Let's talk about what that looks like. What is it that you're no longer willing to tolerate in your life?
I would have to say I'm no longer willing to tolerate honestly it goes back to trusting myself. I won't say what I'm no longer willing to tolerate, but I know what I'm willing to tolerate. Like within myself. It's like I'm not being hard on myself, but it's like I built so much self-trust within myself since I started the business. And it's just like I can't see myself going back. It's one of those things where if certain situations come up within interacting with other people within relationships, I know how to handle that now. So I wouldn't say like I have my own boundaries, of course, but it's just like it's more so within me and what I'm willing to tolerate with myself.
So you put some parameters on yourself.
Yeah, because I know what the old me would do. So it's like, girl, we not doing that this season. And do you find yourself sometimes like looking in the mirror saying, we're not gonna do that today? Yes, because it was a lot of before, you know, the self-work. There was a lot of negative self-talk and talking myself out of stuff. And not trusting myself, saying, oh, this might not look good. You know, even if I look at my business, like, you know, some people go, oh, you good at marketing. But it's like, for me, even before I started it, it's like, I'm good at what I do, but I'm just trusting what I want to put out. I'm not self-criticizing myself. Like, I'm not like, you know, being hard on me to where it's like, oh no, this don't look like such and such, or, you know, those type of things. It's just more so, what do I like? What do I want to post? What do I want to put out into the world? And those are the things where it's like, I'm no longer willing to tolerate myself being hard on me.
I love it. Yes. That's growth. That's growth.
For me, I'll say I'm no longer willing to tolerate shrinking or self-sacrifice. You know, I thought self-sacrifice was love and, you know, shrinking yourself and putting other people first. But I'm like, no, I can't shrink myself, because see, you shrink yourself and people still be offended. I said, oh, I gotta be bold now. I said, I was holding back. And I'm like, nah, I gotta be bold, gotta be me. And then no longer accepting dishonoring myself. So I did it twice at the end of last year, and I recognized it. Like you said, I wasn't hard on myself. Like, said yes to 2 projects where I was just like, okay, because, you know, people pull I need you, I can't do it without you. You're my favorite set partner. No, I can't do it. And I'm like, okay. And now I'm like, nah, can't do it. Can't do it.
I love that. Yes, thank you so much.
Self-abandonment. That's it right there.
And that's a huge piece, I think, for a lot of us. I too struggled with that, Xania, as a Cancer moon. Being a martyr for the cause. Oh my God. You know, and just not honoring myself, and being burned out, you know, as a mother, a friend, a sorority sister, you know, all of those things. And, you know, working sun up to sun down, 2 and 3 jobs, going to school. You know, I felt like, and I came to an understanding of who I was astrologically, which really helped me a lot. And I think that's why it's so important for us to lean into our birth chart and what all that entails. But I came to a point where I realized that even though I do possess some of these placements, it does not mean that I have to die for them. You know, like, I don't have to die on a hill for them, and then in the process abandon myself. So we've heard you talk about all of those things, what happened before, what happened during, what has happened after. So I wanted to open it up to the audience to see if there was anybody who wanted to share their own story about how they got over. You know, Mahalia Jackson used to sing that song, How I Got Over. That's what I always say about the Saturn Return, is how I got over. So if you would like to,
Add a chair.
we can either add a chair, or if you want me to just pass it on back, I can do that.
Hi everyone, I'm enjoying this so far, by the way. My name is Jasmine, and I had my Saturn return in Aquarius in the 7th house. So just a little bit about me. I am married. I got married pretty young. And as you were asking all those questions, I was answering in my head.
Oh,
and,
wow.
before my Saturn return happened, you know, I got married, I'm a nurse, I had a successful career, I have a beautiful home, beautiful children, amazing husband, you know, and, you know, I woke up one day and it came to like, well, what about me? You know, like, where am I, you know, personally, what does that look like for me? And I couldn't answer that for myself. I really couldn't. So it was after I had my son, in 2022, I woke up and I was like, all right, I'm about to get on a plane. Once a month, I was on a plane going somewhere by myself.
Wow.
I had a really personal conversation with my husband just about, you know, radical honesty and doing things different within our marriage. As you guys can see, I don't wear a ring. It's that Aquarius energy of, you know, however we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it the way we wanna do it. And that's really how we really base our relationship off of. It's just, you know, understanding that this is my life partner, but whomever else comes along, you know, we're open up to too. But really what it's about just understanding that, you know, like, we're here, you know, I'm gonna be with him for you know, for the long haul. Who knows who else I'm gonna meet. So, yeah, so during my Saturn return, just like I said, I was on a plane once a month, you know, meeting new people and really enjoying that. And I'm a Leo rising too.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Literally the same.
Really?
Leo rising, Cancer moon.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So really, what it was really about was just like learning me and being authentically me, and not really caring about what anyone else had to say about it. And I stand tried and true in that. And so I think one of the questions she had asked was like, well, what did you learn from it? And it's really just like, you know, authenticity. Like, if you can't accept me who I am and everything and whoever it is, then that's it, you know. And so I'm still living that, and I think that my message is just like how